Hello and welcome. Welcome to the Tuesday night non-live sale. I'm giving it all away in the first 10 seconds. So guys, thank you for joining me. It is Tuesday. We have videos this week for the 365 series. And in this morning's video, I mentioned that I was going to have a live sale today. And I talked about some of the new items that I found to bring for the live sale. But we're not going to have a live sale tonight. So I will talk about why we're not having a live sale tonight. I will talk about where we're at in invoicing, shipping, all that kind of stuff. It is literally just going to be a quick little chat. Hi, how are you? And then I'm going to go back to packing and shipping and invoicing, and you guys can go about your day, your evening, your night. So anyway, if you're joining just for a live sale and you do not care to hear any updates or anything like that, you're not going to miss out on anything tonight. Nothing important is happening or being said. It is literally just a quick little catch up and updates for what's happening as far as where order status is and all that kind of stuff. For today, hello, and thank you guys all for joining. I see all of you joining. Hello, hello. Okay, so my goodness. There's a couple reasons why we're not going to have a live sale tonight, and I do want to talk about those reasons just very briefly. This is, like I said, going to be a quick little live. We're not going to do any crafting. We're not going to talk about anything earth-shattering. There's nothing really going on other than I didn't, sell last week because last week was processing week, and invoicing was supposed to happen yesterday, and invoicing should start rolling out tomorrow morning. Invoicing for, there's two groups of items that I'm invoicing right now. I'm invoicing everything that's ever been sold at live sales. For regular papers, books, whatever, all of that kind of stuff is one invoice. And then Italian paper is a separate invoice. If you purchased only Italian paper, you will get an invoice next Monday. It might be this weekend, but mostly next Monday for Italian paper. And that's because I'm doing the regular live sale stuff first. It was sold first, and I need to get that taken care of. And then I will invoice for Italian paper. When I originally sold Italian paper, I'm just going to be 100% honest with you guys. When I originally sold Italian paper, it was because we had an employee that was starting. The employee was supposed to be able to help us out with the sorting and prepping and packing of Italian paper. Since it is something that the sheets are numbered, it was pretty simple, and that was a task that we could get them up to speed on very quickly. So that was why I thought it was going to be able to be invoiced, packed, and shipped within 7 days. Unfortunately, that employee, I've talked about it, she didn't know that she had cataracts as bad as she did. And it wasn't until she tried to do some of the tasks that she realized she couldn't see at all, pretty much. Little numbers, computer, your chat, that kind of stuff. So that didn't work out, which left me with Italian paper on top of all the live sale things. That is why we are just a little bit behind. Being behind here is nothing new because there are many more of you than there are of me. And so here's the plan. Invoicing for all live sale stuff except for Italian paper will start rolling out tomorrow morning. It will go in order of alphabetically. So if you have a last name or your user ID is towards the end, then your invoice will be towards Friday. If you have a first name, last name, whatever, starting with A, however you're in my system, then you will start tomorrow. And so I am going to go alphabetically this time, with the exception of people who purchase large ledgers. Large ledgers always get packed first because they require a special box. And I need to get those boxes situated, those huge heavy packages. They're very time consuming to pack, and those need to get out of the way first. And then we'll proceed alphabetically through the list. And so all live sale stuff except for Italian paper should be done by Friday. Italian paper will be done Saturday, Sunday, and then at the very latest Monday for Italian paper. That is the plan. I don't want to do a live sale tonight for several reasons. A, I already have enough on my plate. And B, you all already have enough on your plate. Trust me, because I can see the invoices that are loaded in as drafts at the moment. And we all need to catch up before we proceed. Does that include prior 2 weeks before? Yes. All live sale stuff except for Italian paper will be invoiced starting tomorrow, and then Italian paper will roll out this weekend. Solja, you have stuff from a little bit ago, and that was my fault. But unfortunately, at this point, it's all just in one package, and it's going to be going that way. If you need extra time because of me combining several cycles, let me know. But anyway, that's the plan. The reason why I don't want to sell on top of it, like I said, I already have enough on my plate. And when I can see the total of invoices, you all already have enough on your plate. We want to not get ahead of ourselves. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, and I don't want you guys to get ahead of yourselves. So let's just take this week as a break from live sales. We will pick it up next week when we come back. When we come back next week, I also want to update you guys quickly before next week. Before I talk about next week, I want to update you guys about international buyers. International buyers, every one of you will ship this cycle. Every single person who has anything here will ship this cycle. If your order is less than $50, it will ship this cycle. If you are international, no matter what you have here, full box, half box, whatever, it will ship this cycle. Every single person who's have anything here will ship this cycle. The reason being is I need to clear the decks, because what is coming next week, there's a whole different cycle of a process of doing sales from next week on. So I need to clear the deck for what is here to bring all of the new procedures into place before I sell again. And so, as you guys know, because you've been here a while, as you guys know, the channel grew quickly, live sales kind of grew quickly, and I have been just trying to keep my head above water with you all. And before we continue, I need to put some different procedures in place to make invoicing faster, to make shipping faster, just to keep things rolling a little bit more smoothly for me here, as well as for you guys. When we come back next week, we will begin invoicing weekly. So I will still be selling Tuesday and Thursday, but at the end of the week, you will all receive your invoice for that week's purchases. There will still be options for combining multiple weeks, multiple purchases into different packages. I will talk more about that when we actually come back next week, because I'm still situating a couple of things on that. But invoicing needs to start happening weekly, because sometimes you don't know where you're at as a buyer. If you don't keep track of your purchases, which you guys know I've always told you guys, keep track of your own purchases, take screenshots, write it down, a spreadsheet, whatever it is that you guys wanted to do. I keep track of them here. I'm not asking you to keep track for my records. I'm asking you to keep track for your records if you care. Some of you don't care. Some of you guys are literal millionaires. That's awesome. But some of you aren't. And some of you don't know how big of an invoice you're going to get. And if it's a 2-week sell cycle, some people, those invoices creep up on them. And then the invoice hits and it's been 2 or 3 weeks, and then it's a little bit maybe more than they thought. And so I want to keep us all moving at a steady pace. And if I bring things out like tonight, if I brought things out and I sold things, because trust me, there's enough stuff I could bring every single day of the week if I wanted to. The problem is if I bring new things, even though you might have an invoice that's due, you feel like you have to buy the new stuff because I brought the new stuff. And I don't want to put that kind of pressure on you guys. What I mean by that is there seems to be like the fear of missing out kind of phenomena. And I just want to make sure that we're all moving at a comfortable pace. Like there's no rush on my side. There shouldn't be a rush on your side. I just want to keep us all moving at a comfortable pace. And I don't want to bring new stuff when I know that there's a lot of outstanding invoices, or I'm about ready to invoice, because I feel like people feel that if they don't get it right now, if they don't claim it right now, they won't get it, whatever the case may be. And I don't want people to get into trouble, for lack of a better word. Like I said, some of you are millionaires and it doesn't matter, but some people, they have a budget that they're trying to keep to, and I don't want people to go beyond that and get into trouble. If I was just here for the selling and the money, I wouldn't care and I'd just sell. I don't want people to have that kind of stress and pressure in their life. This is supposed to be something fun. It's supposed to be something enjoyable for both of us, right? And so I just want to keep us moving at a comfortable pace. And so I'm just trying to, just kind of give us all a break for a week or so. And it's not really a break. I'm still here working just as hard as if I wasn't, but if I was selling. But anyway, I just don't want us to get ahead of ourselves too much. So hopefully you're all on board with that. The weekly invoicing, just because you get invoiced does not mean you are required to ship. There still will be ship options for you to combine. Like if you wanted to ship every other week, that could happen. If you wanted to ship when your box is full, that might be able to happen. I'm still working out the details on the shipping, but for sure, when we come back and we start selling, we will be invoicing every week. And it's because I'm seeing that some people are getting too far ahead of themselves. And I don't want that to become a growing problem. I want us to both know where we're at and keep things moving smoothly. And also, I feel like once the invoicing is one part of what takes so long behind the scenes. And then the packing and shipping your order takes, the other half of that time. But when I get the invoicing done on a weekly basis, it helps keep me moving at a smoother pace too. Just that way, whenever we are ready to ship the invoicing part, the invoicing half has already been done. So I think it will make things move smoother. Move smoother, and also keep everyone knowing where they're at and no surprises and all that good kind of stuff. So there's also with that, because every time I change the process here to accommodate the influx of buyers and the order sizes and that kind of stuff, I need to do many resets behind the scenes to make all of that happen. And so that's why I can't give you a definitive answer on the shipping part yet. So just know going forward when we come back, invoicing every week and shipping will still be able to be combined across multiple things. You will not have to ship every time you are invoiced, but you will have to pay every time you are invoiced. And it's, again, I'm trying to really keep everyone from getting ahead of themselves, which is the best way I can say it. And so there's that. You're going to have multiple boxes, Catherine. Yep, multiple at this point. So the reason why internationals have to ship is because I have to be able to leave one set of systems and processes and start another. And unfortunately, if I try to keep some people, the international people, with an old system, and then the rest of us move to a new system, inevitably things get left out or crossed. And everyone needs to be in the same system. And that's just the only way I can make it work back here. So with all of that, that's what's happening. That's the schedule. If you are looking for an invoice, it will come starting alphabetically after I do the huge boxes, alphabetically, starting with A. It will end with Z, obviously. And Z should probably be on Friday. The last little bit will be on Friday. It's not completely alphabetical, but it's mostly alphabetical. If you have a smaller order where it's just one or two things, the less than $50 orders, you are going to ship this time. It's just going to be whatever is in your bin. So if you have like one magazine for $12, it's going to ship. And those less than 50 will also be last after the alphabetical of the bins, because your bin is a smaller bin. I know it's too much behind the scenes, but there's 300 large bins and then there's 82 small bins. And depending on how big your order is what bin you are in here. And then I start alphabetically through large bins and move to small bins. There's a process to it. There's a method to the madness. And so that's what it is. It's Catherine, your invoice is everything that you have here that is unpaid. And international people, you will all be invoiced every week as well, because what has been happening with international buyers is they were just invoiced when they shipped. And unfortunately, again, some purchases grow and grow and grow, and then you get a big invoice and you're like, whoa, that's way more than I thought. And it's just, we need to even this out. So every week, every single buyer will be invoiced and they have to pay the invoice. Then if you want to buy another time, another week, and then, okay, fine, we're going to ship after 2 weeks, there'll be an option for that. There will also be an option to ship as soon as your invoice is paid. So there's going to be multiple shipping options, but invoicing will have to happen every week and be paid every week before we move forward, because as I've talked about, we just need to keep going at a comfortable pace for both of us. I don't want people to get too far behind in their invoices, and I don't want to sell or offer new amazing things that make you feel like you have to claim when you already owe. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of why we're not selling this week, is because I can see that they're basically almost everyone has some sort of invoice here waiting for them. So anyway, I'm just trying to be really upfront and honest about it and just keep us going at a comfortable pace. Yes. And I want people to not stress. Like I said, this is supposed to be something fun. It's supposed to be a pleasurable hobby, and this is supposed to be something fun. We're supposed to, enjoy this part. And when it becomes unenjoyable for either you or me, then we just need to take a little break from it. And I'm still having fun, but I am beginning to get stressed a little bit about um, just seeing that some invoices are not getting paid, and then that makes me stress. So it makes me stress not over the money part of it, over the fact that I think other people are stressing, because I see them stressing about their invoice. And so again, I just want to keep us moving at a comfortable pace. I think for international people, it will definitely help to just kind of that check-in about um no, invoicing for international is every week. Invoicing for everyone is every week, Catherine. Everything, I'll go over it again. So here's the deal for people who just jumped in. Um, we are invoicing all live sale purchases except for Italian paper starting tomorrow morning through Friday. Saturday and Sunday and Monday will be Italian paper invoicing. Every single person who has anything here will ship this cycle. All international buyers will ship this cycle. All less than $50 orders will ship this cycle. All live sales, all Italian papers, everything ships this cycle. When I come back and I start selling next week, we will have invoicing every week. So you will receive an invoice. So I'll sell on Tuesday next week. I'll sell on Thursday next week. On Friday, you will receive an invoice. Before the Tuesday of the next week's sale starts, those invoices need to be paid. And I want to keep us moving at a regular, smooth pace so that no one gets behind, no one gets stressed out, and we're all happy with this process. Shipping can happen right when you pay your invoice if you choose it to. Shipping can also happen every 2 weeks or at a period which we talk about next week. I'm still working out a little bit on the shipping timeframes, but just know that if you pay your invoice and you want to ship, you'll have the option of doing that. But there will also be an extended shipping option for people who don't want to be hit with those shipping charges on a weekly basis. Some of you guys shop with me every single sale, every single week. And for you, you might not want to pay shipping every week because that's 4 shipping charges in a month. You might opt for, if I make an option of you'll ship when your box is full, maybe that's the option you want. I'm not saying that will be a guaranteed option. I'm just saying these are the options I have in my head. You could ship when your box is full. You could ship every 2 weeks. You could ship when you pay your invoice. These are the kind of shipping options that I'm thinking about. So the change for international people is every single one of you will be invoiced every week, and then you will ship on an agreed upon time schedule for international buyers. That's what we're doing for international. If you want me to hold your box, I will hold it. Yes. You are within a day's shipping time from me, so yes. Yes. If you want me to hold it, Soldier, I will hold it. And see, that's the thing is I'm not in the business of offering credit. I don't want to be a debt collector. I don't want to be a credit person. I'm not offering credit. That's not what this is about. When you shop, like anywhere else you shop online, you put the stuff in your cart, you check out, you pay for it, and then you get it. What's happening is I'm kind of being used as credit for some buyers, and I would like to be out of the credit business. It's just, it makes me have to be a debt collector at times, and nobody wants to be a debt collector except for maybe those who enjoy being a debt collector. But I don't want to be a debt collector. This is supposed to be something fun that we're doing together. That's supposed to be fun for both of us. So I would much rather keep us moving at that smooth pace instead of having some of the conversations that unfortunately I've had to have recently. I'm trying to look. So if you have a question, type it in all caps now so I can see it. You have multiple boxes, Catherine, right now. So the reason why everyone has to ship this cycle, even international people, is because I have to clear the decks to start a new system of processing things next week. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense for you guys at home, but just think about it like this. If I have group A and group A is all handled on cycle 1, but there's a few people on group B that are still handled on cycle 2, inevitably the more options there are, there's space for error. And so to avoid space for error, we're just going to ship everything that's here. You would have been shipped anyway because you have more than a box. Most of the international ladies, they have enough for it warrants shipping. I don't think there's anyone who just has a couple of little things here for international buyers. Oh my gosh. So I see questions that have already been answered a couple of times. So just if you didn't get your question answered, rewind. But I have already addressed invoicing. Invoicing was supposed to be done, and there's a lot of confusion about this too. And I don't understand, but we sold for 2 weeks. There was a week for processing, and your invoice was supposed to be out yesterday. Yesterday is when invoicing was supposed to happen. Today's Tuesday. Invoicing is going to happen on Wednesday or start rolling out on Wednesday. The part that you guys are missing is it takes multiple days to invoice you all. Multiple. It's not possible. Even if I stayed awake for 24 hours, it's not possible to invoice, pack, and ship 150 or 200 of you in the same day. It's just not possible. And so that's the point where we're at. We're needing a reset. I'm needing a reset because I physically can't do it. I need multiple days to get this amount of work done. So invoicing will start rolling out tomorrow for live sale stuff. Italian paper will start this weekend. Everybody will have all of their invoices by Monday of next week. Monday of next week, all of those invoices need to be paid. You need to pay the invoice when you receive the invoice, because by now it has been 3 weeks at least where you purchase the items and you've had 3 weeks to arrange payment. So when you get the invoice, the payment is due. If you have an outstanding invoice when I sell next Tuesday, you will not be purchasing. And that's the easiest explanation I can do about it. Invoices have to be paid before we pile on, which is why I'm not selling tonight, because those invoices that are sitting there need to be paid before we move on. Because if I offer things, then you guys feel like you have to claim them, and then we just get too far ahead of ourselves. Okay, so No, Italian paper will never be combined with anything else. It will always ship rolled by itself. And I'm not going to, it's just because I'm not going to sit there and fold it. And then I got to worry about combining yours for you. It just, it's not sold that way originally. It's sold that Italian paper will always be shipped separate. Unfortunately, this is where the stickiness is. It's one request for one person, but I just cannot pull one person out and do their order a different way. Every single person has to be processed the same way because there are legitimately 200 packages before we do Italian paper, which is at least another 100 packages. That's 300 packages that need packed and shipped. I'm not set up that way to be able to deviate from the system, because when I deviate from the system that I set up, the procedures that I set up, that's when errors happen. You're asking for something out of the norm, and then I have to remember to do it just for you. It takes extra time, and it's taking away time from somebody else's order being processed. It's a whole thing. Exactly. So, guys, I do the best that I can. I know most of you guys are all, happy and good with it. If someone is unhappy, you can always private message me and we can talk about it. But the point is, I'm not going to have a live sale because I don't want us to get too far ahead of ourselves. Next week I will have live sales, but in order to purchase, and this has always been a rule on this channel. And I don't know, we started just kind of we kind of deviated from those rules together. I didn't enforce the rules, and maybe some of you were unaware of the rules or whatever the case may be, but it has always been a rule that if you had an outstanding invoice, you didn't purchase on top of it. Because if you already didn't pay the one invoice, adding more to the invoice doesn't help that invoice get paid, and it kind of makes a scenario where you can get behind. And so to avoid that, we will be having a system in place behind the scenes here that allows for people whose invoices are paid to claim things, and it blocks people who have outstanding invoices from claiming things. You can still join us. You can still have a good time with us and chat and all that kind of stuff. You're not banned from the channel. You're not blocked from anything else. You'll just be blocked from claiming on top of an unpaid invoice. Does that make sense? We're gonna a whole slew of things here where really it's very simple. You claim things, you get invoiced, you pay the invoice, your stuff ships, and we move forward. That's really the basis of it. But I knew if I came live tonight, this is how this conversation was gonna go. Oh my gosh. It's a lot of different things, but it's really standard. Nothing I'm saying is a deviation from the way that this is done anywhere. I don't know another place that you guys can claim things for like months and months and not pay for them. So that's really all this is. So anyway, the rules have been out there for a long time. I don't know. Maybe I need to do a refresher. I don't think so. I think everybody gets it. So it's just, we're all getting on the same page now, and getting on the same page should be a positive thing going forward. So that's the way we're going to do it. I will have shipping options for you next week, and we will talk about that. And then you guys can choose what you want. And we'll move forward that way. It's not really supposed to be a business. It was just a small little thing that I started, and it was super fun, and just, sharing the amazing things that I could get. So how it really started was I shared some of the French things that I got in a live where I did a little, hey, here's an unboxing kind of a video. And people started asking me for, hey, are you going to share that? Hey, I would like to buy some pages out of that ledger, and whatever the case may be. It started out very innocent and very small. And then, it's been about 4 years now. And so throughout that, there were lots of different things that were done, but the end result is I'm still sharing things I get from France. it does need to be fun for both parties, right? And so I am trying to gain some sanity here in my life. Like you guys know, I'm expecting a grandbaby, my first grandbaby, basically in about 5 weeks. So I am trying to get some things situated before that happens, just because I know when my grandbaby's here, it will, even though it's not my baby, even though I don't, have him and I'm not babysitting him or anything like that, it is going to be a little bit of a disruption. And I do want to get things as, cleaned up here as I can before that happens. So that's kind of part of the timing of it. But mostly it's because I can see the amount of invoices that are sitting there. Awesome. That's awesome, Amy. Awesome. Okay. So one more time for questions. If you didn't get a question, if you didn't get an answer to your question, okay, if you didn't get an answer to your question, answer it or ask it now in all caps, because I would like to answer these questions. We'll talk about anything you guys want to talk about, and then I'll say goodnight so that I can go back to work and you guys can go on with your night. Okay. If you paid your invoice, then I'm sure I am aware of that. You will have another one. So let me say this too. This is not about any one particular person. This is not about any one particular unpaid invoice. I'm not calling anyone out. It is not a decision about any one specific thing. This is a general conversation about why I'm not having a live sale tonight, because I am in the process of invoicing for not one, but two different things. So most of you will have two separate invoices. If you don't have two, then you probably have one. And we just need to get that taken care of before we move forward. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is like I said, it's a refresher on, we shouldn't get too far ahead of ourselves in purchasing when we already have an outstanding invoice, because that's not good for any of us. So it's just kind of a little chat. It's not regarding any one particular person. Please do not message me feeling singled out. I literally have explained this is not one particular person. This is not one particular, situation, anything like that. It's literally just a reset on systems here, because I need to change invoicing to weekly. It will run smoother, me having the invoicing part done, so that when it is time to ship, all I have to do is ship. Because right now I have to invoice all the hundreds of items and pack all the hundreds of items and ship them. So if I can cut out the invoicing part, because that's already done ahead of time of the shipping part of it, at least for some of you, that will help. So it's a system change as well as a refresher on, hey, this is how things were supposed to go as far as, invoices being paid, that kind of thing. So anyway, if your invoice was paid July 10th, when would you receive? You're asking about an item that was already shipped to you, and you have a tracking number that was emailed to you. I'm not going to look your tracking up while I'm live, but your tracking number was sent to an email. All you need to do is track your package with the tracking number provided. Every single one of you, when I ship your order, you get a tracking number emailed to you. You just track your package and it will tell you when it's going to get there. But your package has already been shipped. Yes. And I will say this again to you. When your invoice comes out to you, if you pay that invoice within the next day, it usually ships the next business day. If you pay your invoice 3 days later, then your package will go out whenever I ship next. If it's a whole week before I ship again, then it's a whole week before I ship again. All I can tell you guys with that is your invoices are due when you get them. Because at this point, by the time you get an invoice, it has been 4 weeks. 4 weeks since those items were claimed. So all I can tell you is the faster you pay your invoice, the faster your stuff actually leaves here. When you are invoiced, you have a tracking number. Your tracking number is sent to you via email from Pirate Ship from me within a few seconds of your invoice being sent to you. That tracking number is your valid tracking number. It doesn't matter whether you paid your invoice a week later, that is still your tracking number. That tracking number is how you track your package with UPS, with FedEx, with USPS, all the ways. Very, very simple process. And that's why whenever you registered and I still asked you for an email, it's because at this time, tracking is only being sent via email because I'm using Pirate Ship, and Pirate Ship does not have a text. There's no option to text you a tracking number that is available to me in Pirate Ship. Oh my gosh. It's not even like I'm used to it at this point. I'm used to the roller coaster of what happens here because every time in my head I'm like, okay, you're going to do A and that's going to equal B. It never equals that. Lives are just wild and crazy and they have a mind of their own. And part of my frustration, if there is a frustration, is it doesn't matter what I tell you. Like, it doesn't matter what I tell you. Half of you will hear the sky is blue and the other half of you will hear the sky is red and there's nothing I can do to change your mind about it. It's just part of being live. And I don't even stress about it anymore. It is what it is. All I can do is put the information out there, and then what people choose to do with it, they choose to do with it. That's all I can do. The other thing is now, because a lot of guys will say, like, getting a package is like Christmas because you're opening it up and you're finding all these things that you claimed and you loved and you fell in love with. And you're like, oh, wow, that's awesome. I got this. Wow, yay. And so, like, speeding things up will help you guys be like, oh, okay, I ordered A, B, and C, and I got A, B, and C. It's just a little bit more of a clean process. We can all keep things straight that way. I hope that makes sense to you guys. I am texting your invoices now as long as I remember to click the button yes. Otherwise, it comes in an email. Either way, you get an invoice. Most of you, if you're signed up for text messages, will come via text. It does require me to click the button for text. So as long as I remember to do that, it comes via text. I know. It is. It's a wild and crazy thing. We're using YouTube for something that YouTube isn't designed for, and we're all doing our best with it. Like, there's frustrations on both sides, but at the end of the day, how else are we going to do this? How else are we going to all share what comes from France? There's not really another way, like, I wish that there were completely French flea markets where I could just be like, oh, I'm going to the flea market on Saturday and just find stuff. Unfortunately, we don't have that much awesome flea markets here to begin with in Arizona. And we surely don't have flea markets that have antique paper. And we surely don't have flea markets that have antique French paper. So it is kind of like, I can't think of a better way of putting the stuff out there for more people to share. And so that's why we're doing it via YouTube and live sales, because I can't, even if I was to do a website and be, here's listing A for French fashion magazines. Sure, I could put the French fashion magazines there, but it would be so labor intensive to list out every single thing. It would defeat the purpose. So we're doing the best we can to share the French things with as many people as want the French things. And that's kind of, it's kind of the best way that I can think of to allow people to shop what I receive. So hopefully that makes sense. Have not been able to attend for a while. Okay. So the other thing is some of you guys are still not registered with the texting system. If you're not registered with the texting system, all buyers, even existing buyers from 4 years ago, you still need to register with text messaging because that's the only way I communicate now. If you ever try to send me an email, you may or may not get a response because I'm no longer answering emails. I'm looking in my text messages for messages from you guys because that's where I've been directing you for at least 6 weeks now to message me only in text. So text literally means from your cell phone. The phone number that's listed in the description box and at the top of the chat box, that's the phone number for text message registration. That's where you send all your information over to get set up in the text message system. That's how people are getting their invoices sent to them via text. The invoices coming to you through text, you pay them the same way that you would pay it if it came through email. It's just that now it gets sent to your text messages in your phone where you don't have to be like, oh, did she send my email or did she send my invoice via email? Did I miss it? Oh, I don't want her to think I'm not paying. So I better stress and like look in my email again. Like it just takes away all of that. Once you're invoiced, it comes through text as long as I remember to click the button, which I have been much better about. So as long as you're set up through text, you should get it through text message. If you get it through email, don't stress. It just means I forgot to click a button, which shouldn't happen, but it might. And so when you get your text invoice, you just click it and you enter the same payment information the same way that you would always pay your invoices. Some of you guys have, your addresses and stuff saved through Square. I don't know who does and who doesn't. It doesn't show me that, but you still have all the same checkout options. You've got the Afterpay, you've got the credit and debit card, you've got all your Cash Apps, and what is the other one? There's another one there. Cash App and something else. There's all kinds of payment options there. The same payment options as that has always been there. Oh my gosh. Texting is better. I will say that I have not looked in text for 2 days because I've been worried about getting all of their stuff ready to invoice. So I will be answering messages that you text me after this live, and then I will get stuff ready for invoicing and packing and shipping in the morning. It's not technically alphabetically, but mostly alphabetically. It depends. So just know that you will receive an invoice for regular live sale stuff by Friday. So during Friday at the latest. Saturday and Sunday, I'm devoting to packing and shipping Italian paper. If it sounds like I'm behind, I am. I am technically behind 2 days. 2 days. The problem is when I say that invoicing starts on Monday, you all 200 of you think you're getting an invoice on Monday. It's not possible. Trust me, I have racked my brain trying to figure out how to get you all packed and shipped and invoiced on one day. It can't happen. There's just too many of you and too many items and all that kind of stuff. So I have made some changes to the way things are going to happen going forward to clear that up and keep it running smoother, which is part of what today was about. Anyway, there is no live sale tonight. It is just chatting about stuff. We will invoice live sale stuff starting tomorrow through Friday, Italian paper, Saturday, Sunday, Monday at the latest. Whoever pays their invoice, welcome to shop next week. If you have an outstanding invoice, I will have to restrict the purchasing until those invoices are paid. Should you not receive an invoice by next Monday, reach out to me and let me know via text message, because usually if you don't receive an invoice, it's because I don't have your information. There is only one person that I'm currently looking for because I don't have a valid email address for them. But other than that, I have everybody's information. So we're all good. Oh my gosh. It's a super long process doing it this way. And there are options for making it very streamlined. And I like to think of it as like, I don't know how many of you have an In-N-Out in your state. An In-N-Out, for those of you that don't know, it's a fast food, like a burger restaurant. And they have a limit. So In-N-Out is very successful. And it was started, I think, in California. I'm not really sure. But it's very successful. And the reason why it's very successful is because it has a very limited menu. They offer a cheeseburger, a double cheeseburger, and a hamburger. They do not have chicken nuggets. They don't have curly fries or all these crazy things. They have a very basic menu with like 5 or 6 things on it. And the reason why they're so successful is because A, they have an excellent product. Their burger is far better, superior than other burger places. And their prices are very low, right? But more than that is they're able to do what they do very streamlined, very quick. It's all methodical. The reason why they keep their menu so simple, because surely they could sell a million things, but the reason why they keep their menu so simple is because that's the only way to serve so many customers in such short period of time and keep things running good. They've decided that instead of offering, all these crazy things that all these other fast food restaurants offer, they're just going to offer a core set of things and just be really great at those 5 things. And yes, I could certainly take this business and I could certainly say, okay, I'm going to offer you guys 5 things. We're going to have, Italian paper, we're going to have French paper, we're going to have this, right? But unfortunately, with a business like this, where we're dealing with antique things and vintage things, where they're all one of a kind, you can't streamline it like that. And so if we could streamline antique and vintage things, it would be amazing, but we can't. They're all unique. They're all different. Every single thing has, a unique characteristic that all has to be accounted for behind the scenes. So invoicing stuff where there's thousands of items, and somebody asked me, they're like, is it really thousands of items? It is thousands of items because, if I sold, say I sold a paper pack and it was, one different type of paper in this paper pack, but it was sold to 50 people, but I sold, ABC paperback, like you can see where it is thousands of items, right? And so, but each one of those thousand of items has to be individually listed on your invoice with a price attached to it. It has to be accounted for behind the scenes to make sure the right thing gets in the right person's bin, it gets on the right invoice, it's packed the right way to protect it for shipping. And so every one of those 1,000 items is all done that way. And it is very labor intensive. And I do wish that there was some short menu way of doing it, but there just isn't, unless we just, we start saying there's a paper box A and a paper box B and who knows what's in it. Like we could do random mystery things, but I don't think most of us like to buy that way. Most of us like to know what we're getting. So anyway, that's kind of I don't know, the long and short of where we're at. Oh my gosh. Yes, Catherine. Yep. Yep. I have your new address. Yes. As long as it hasn't changed, you'll let me know. I'll look at your invoice. I'm doing it myself at the present time. However, for this to keep rolling, it cannot be just me anymore. And I have talked at length about this because it's just getting to the point where it can't just be one person. And so we will have to, find the right person, the right people to bring on to help with it, because it does need to be fun for me again. And it does need to be fun for you guys. And when I get behind or stressed, there is a tension you guys can see and feel. And when you guys get behind or stressed, I also feel that tension. I just started this because I love making junk journals and I love paper crafting and I happen to love antiques and vintage things. And so the two kind of got married together. And as you guys know, I have not been able to fully finish a journal in a very long time because of time constraints. I need to get to a point where I can craft more because that's that's what I love about this. And I know I get to craft for the 365 videos, but take this for whatever you want. Crafting when the camera is on and you're having to film a video, it is enjoyable. I do like it, but there is also some time needed for me just to create without a camera being on. And so there's things that I would like to have more of in my life. I would like to have more crafty time without the camera on. I would also like to have time to spend with my new grandbaby when he gets here and my daughter. So um I'm trying to get some things in place to where we could have him one day a week, where I could be babysitting him one day a week, because I would love to babysit him 5 days a week while my daughter's at work, but unfortunately I can't, right? Because I don't even have time to sleep at this time. So I need to situate some things where I can also have him for maybe one day a week. It wouldn't be immediate because, she's got some time off of work, but eventually I would like to have my grandbaby um one day, right? One day, that's all I can get with him. But I would like to have him, and I would like to craft a little bit without the camera being on, just because I need to have that time. When you sit down and you craft, you might like to listen to YouTube videos, or maybe that's the time for you to clear your head and just have that stress relief of crafting. And I would also like that, instead of feeling like you got to film quick, you got to get this video done, you got 5 more to do or 7 more to do today. Like, it's just a different animal. And so you do really have to be careful when you combine something that you love and you enjoy so much with a business. You have to be a little bit careful. And it is that balance. It's that constant balance of, you have to be able to still enjoy what you do. And if the scale ever flips and I no longer are, if I'm not able to enjoy what I do, then this isn't good for me, right? And I would have to make a change, because I will never give up the joy of crafting and the joy of making journals. So right now we're good. I'm still enjoying it. I'm still having a great time. I enjoy, getting to know all of you. I enjoy getting to spend all this time with you guys. And just, we have had so much fun over the years that I've been doing this, and I am so thankful for that. It's never going to go away. We're always going to be here and be hanging out and crafting. And I will always share whatever it is that I find all over the world with you guys. But we just need a little bit better balance. It's just a little bit better balance. And so I know you guys feel that too. And so we're working on it. We're working on it. Okay. A personal craft day. I know. But don't you guys agree, though, that crafting is the best stress relief? Like, if you've ever had a really bad day and you just come home and you just craft, just for the fun of crafting, you're not making a journal that someone else already purchased and you got to get it done by this time. You're just crafting. And I say that because most people who start making journals and then they start selling journals, they eventually get to a point where they're like, this isn't the best way of crafting. But that's a side story. So anyway, I think that just coming home and, you've had a bad day, whatever, you're just stressed out. Even something like, when my daughter, she's pregnant. They diagnosed her with preeclampsia, and I was very stressed about that. She's doing great, by the way. Her blood pressure has been great. It is starting to creep up as she's, getting closer to her due date. But for now, she's good. And so when I was very stressed about that, I actually was like, I just wish I could just go in my craft room and just sit there and just craft for just the headspace, just the clearing of the mind. Just, it's something about doing repetitive things over and over again. Like, you're inking, you're cutting, you're gluing, whatever, it's just beneficial that way. So for me, it's definitely a stress release. And I'm looking forward to having some crafty time without cameras on too. Yeah, the happy place. That's what it's supposed to be, right? So we need to keep it happy. If it's not making us happy, then we need to do a little pivot. Doesn't mean that we have to leave it completely. Like, I need more crafty time to myself. Doesn't mean I can't share what I make with you guys. Doesn't mean that I can't, oh, I made this awesome thing and then by myself, and then, oh, I want to turn the camera on and I want to share that with them. Like, it can be both, but it just needs a little bit better balance. Right, Catherine? Yes. Yes, yes. Yep. Definitely, Claudia. And thank you for being a nurse through all of that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys are what takes this from me, because here's the thing, like I just said, I need personal crafty time, but I can tell you right now, I could never go back to only having personal crafty time, because I enjoy this too much. I enjoy our interaction too much, because it's like when we're crafting on Fridays during the classes, or when we're making journals together, it's like crafting at a retreat with all your friends. It's so much fun. I enjoy it so much. That's why I won't give it up when the accountant says to. So, anyway, I like hanging out with you guys and crafting. So, for me, it just needs to be both. It needs to be crafting by myself a little bit and crafting with all of you. Oh my gosh. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me for this. What was supposed to be a quick chat. It's never quick, I guess, but thank you guys very much for joining. I'm sorry we're not having live sales. I know some people are disappointed about not having live sales, but trust me, this stuff doesn't go anywhere in the meantime. It will all still be here, and we will have an awesome live sale next Tuesday. Just, it's good for everybody to get caught up on invoices, and it's good for me to get caught up before I move on. I need to reset those bins and get them all situated for the new process. So there's things. There's always things. All right, guys. So this was Tuesday, no live sale. This Thursday and day after tomorrow, no live sale. On Friday, I will be here making the French Country Junk Journals. We will focus on ephemera on Friday. I hope to finish, I probably won't, but I hope to finish the ephemera digitals for the French Country Journal series before Friday, so that you all can print them and download them and do all that kind of stuff if you want them. I will do my best to get them done. They're not too far out, but as you all know, I also just committed to doing a bunch of other things. So I will do my best to get those done. But on Friday at 7 p.m., we will make ephemera for those journals and get whatever's made already glued in, so we know where we're at, and we'll continue to work on those. So that's Friday, and then I will see you guys back here. Next live sale is Tuesday of next week. Whatever, I know that I talked to you guys about I mentioned in the video this morning that I got these amazing time card things. What they are giant oak wooden panels, and they have all these metal numbered slots in them for time cards from like a factory in France. And so all of the employees, the time card thing would hang on the wall. All of the employees would come in and they would take their time card out of their little numbered slot, and they would, write on it or whatever they did back then. I don't know how much digital clocks they had. Probably not digital, right? But anyway, so they had time cards. And so these would hang on the wall, and they have these little slots in them. And I think they are amazing for using in the craft room to put decorative things in, as well as you could maybe put tags or bookmarks or something that you've made in there to display. But anyway, there's several of those. They're not going anywhere. We will have them next Tuesday or at some point next week. Just don't stress about new stuff, missing out on new stuff. I hate that feeling of the fear of missing out. Trust me, because you guys are buyers, right? You're buyers. I'm also a buyer. I just buy in bulk and from another country. But I'm also a buyer. And so I also know that feeling of the fear of missing out on something that I may not ever find again. So I'm right there in the same boat with you guys. And that feeling is never a great feeling. So let's just try to avoid that feeling. And you guys will know that nothing's leaving here. Nothing's being sold that you guys haven't seen. We will just keep everything until next week, and we'll pick up where we left off. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Maria. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Shauna. I need to get your giant book covers packed. I saw them this morning and I'm like, I really need to find a gigantic box for these. I think there is one. I just need to cut it down and make it to the right size. I know. And that feeling is never good. It's not good anywhere in our life. So let's try to avoid it as much as we can here. And we'll move on together. We'll move on to new stuff together when the group as a whole is ready for new stuff. So that way nobody feels like, they got to pile on, that kind of thing. Sounds good. They're sitting there. They just need packed in a gigantic box. And they're so big, and those metal poles on them, I don't want them to get squished. So yeah, some extra special packing going on there, Shauna. And then they will be for sure. Let's see what else. I was going to say something else and now I lost it. I don't know. I had too much coffee today. Do you guys really quickly? Can you guys tell when I have too much coffee in my videos? Yes or no? I can tell when I have too much coffee in my videos because I'm moving too fast, and then I realize, wait, you had too much coffee. You need to slow it down. That kind of thing. I got a very funny comment the other day. And I like to share the funny comments with you guys because some of you guys are also, either you have a YouTube channel or you're starting a YouTube channel or you're thinking of starting a YouTube channel. So I like to share the funny comments with you so that if you ever get a funny comment, and by funny, I sometimes mean rude, but if you ever get a funny comment, then you're not alone. So, thank you for the yeses and nos. So, I got a very funny comment, and it was basically saying, because I don't remember exactly wording of it. It was basically saying that sometimes you talk too much, or you do talk too much, and sometimes it's better to leave things more quiet in videos. And I was just trying to be like, so they want me to talk less and they want quiet videos. So maybe what they're actually asking for are those videos where there's just music playing, or there's videos where they're like the ASMR, which I will never do on my channel videos. Maybe they're asking for that. Maybe that's what this comment means. And so I took it to my son because sometimes it's just nice to like run it through another set of eyes so that they can read the comment and interpret it, however they interpret it. And he's like, no, they're telling you to shut up. You talk too much. And I'm like, maybe I'll try videos with music. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, so how can a tutorial be with music? I'm trying to think about this. And he's like, you're focusing on trying to figure out how to change what you do based off of one person's comment who was actually being rude to you, Mom. And I'm like, oh, so just ignore it and move on? And he's like, yes. So anyway, that's just, my brain is like, oh, this person wants it this way. Let me try to figure out how to make this one person happy or what they're asking for. Let me try to deliver what this one person is asking for, which is a good thing overall. And I don't think it was too terribly of a rude comment. It was just that that was the process in my brain. And thank goodness my son's like, no, just skip it. Move on. No music. I think music ones are good when they're like flip throughs of journals that are done just because you're just there and you're just looking at beautiful stuff, right? It's not a tutorial, it's just visual things that you're looking at. So I think music ones can be good. Even music when there's a tutorial, if there were words on the screen, I think that might work. But anyway, film in black and white too. Yeah, I mean, people like what they like. There's nothing that I can ever do that will make 100% of people happy 100% of the time. So it's okay. We won't, I was just telling you a story. We will not be doing music unless it is like a video flip through of a completed thing where all you need to do is look at it. Hello, Rhonda. You got here just to say goodbye. We didn't have a sale tonight. We were talking about packing, shipping, invoicing, changes, processes, all that kind of fun stuff. Yep, just some basic stuff. No music. I appreciate that very much, guys. Thank you, thank you. We will not be doing music, but except for a flip through occasionally. I think shorts, when you do a short video, those are good with music. Again, it's not really a tutorial. It's just a little short thing that you're looking at for 60 seconds. Aw, thank you. Thank you, thank you. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to let you go. We're an hour in now. It's supposed to be a little quick one. So, anyway, if you joined later, invoicing for live sale stuff is starting tomorrow through Friday. Italian paper will be Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Everyone here will have an invoice by Monday for every single thing that's here. All orders will ship. All international orders will ship this cycle. All less than $50 orders will ship this cycle. Every single thing that's ever been claimed will ship this cycle. I will hold on to nothing for no one. And it's supposed to be funny. I will not be holding anything. Yeah, it'll all ship. We will move forward with the new way of doing things next week. We will start by invoicing every week next week. So when I sell Tuesday and Thursday next week, you'll get an invoice on Friday. That invoice will be due. And then those who pay will continue on the week after that. And we'll keep moving forward like that to keep everyone on track and not have people fall behind and stress and all that good kind of stuff. What is the Friday night Facebook site name? The Friday night happens here on YouTube. It happens in both places technically, but to participate in chat, you need to be in YouTube. Are you asking for the Facebook group? The Facebook group is called Junk Journal Makers, and it's linked in the description box below the video. Wait. Yes, Fridays are here too. Yep. Friday at 7, and we're going to continue working in the French Country Journal. Okay, that was everything. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I am going to answer any messages that are in the text messaging. So if you haven't been using text, please use text, because I really do not look at email anymore, or Facebook Messenger. Please text me questions. If you have any kind of anything you ever need, sending a text will get you an answer. So text me. If you have texted me, I will answer those as soon as I am done here in a moment. All right, guys. I will see you on Friday. Bye, guys. Have a good rest of your week, and hopefully it will be a good one. Oh my gosh. Bye, guys.